Hi, it's Jesse with member update for the beginning of December. In the world of good news, our 50/50 and last lottery for 2024 going well. The 50/50 is now over $80,000. Thanks for all your support to date. Remember, these tickets make great Christmas presents. The draw will be at the end of December. Thanks for all of your support. The other world of good news, we were just out at one of our controlled burn sites down in the South Okanagan with the Urs Milkmeat Indian Band. We had a number of volunteers go out. In a number of these treatments, we're getting cameras out ahead of time before the burn so that we can get a sense of what's going on with wildlife in the area, pre-burn and then post-burn. We also have a number of plots, vegetation plots, which were done by UBC Vancouver through Dr. Laurie Daniels' lab to look at the changes pre and post around vegetation in the veg community. So we had, I think, 15 or 16 people show up. We got a bunch of cameras out, 20 cameras out. We have another 20 to go. Thanks to all the hard volunteer efforts and Okanagan Nation Alliance, Urs Milkmeat Indian Band. We also had folks from the Ministry of Waterland Resource Stewardship as well as BC Parks out there. Great collaborative effort. Part of that polygon's already been prepped for a burn, and hopefully we can get one pulled off next spring or next fall. We were also out in Kamloops at the Kamloops polygon, which is just east of town, looking at the mulching that was done in early 2024. We're seeing bunch grasses come back. It's looking really good. Of course, always concerns with weeds. We will continue with the mulching this winter with hopes of getting a burn pulled off next spring or next fall as well. So both of those places looking good. It looks good for wildlife. The team out at Little Chapaka the other day saw a big muley buck in there too, which is kind of nice to see. We were recently out at the Sport Fishing Institute at their gala and convention, and also at Pacific Salmon Foundation just had a big meeting in Vancouver around resiliency, restoration, adaptation. So thanks to the invite from both Sport Fishing Institute, Pacific Salmon Foundation, tons of networking, good information, knowledge sharing on everything, you know, from catch and release to habitat restoration to survival in the Pacific, everything you can think about as it relates to salmon, and a bunch of great work that people are doing all over British Columbia. Also, the Women's Outdoor Weekend, we're doing our first winter Women's Outdoor Weekend. It's going to be January 17th to 19th in Enderby. All kinds of winter activity, winter survival. If you're looking for a gift for your partner for Christmas and they're into the outdoors and they want to learn some survival skills and some winter related kind of activities, this is for them. In some sad news, one of our members, Urs Thomas, who was a very active supporter of the BC Wildlife Federation, really keen angler, fish conservationist, spent a pile of time with the Sport Fishing Advisory Board, recently passed away. We'd like to express our condolences to Urs's family and all of our folks up in the Northwest who, you know, knew Urs really well and all of his contribution to fish. And then that leaves us with chronic wasting disease. So we now have 4 cases in Southeast BC, 4 confirmed positives. We got 3 near the town of Cranbrook. And so as it relates to CWD, the best medicine is prevention. And in this case, it would be management. So now that we have 3 cases around Cranbrook, the best thing is to go in and to reduce deer densities in those areas, get a handle on what prevalence is like. You know, there's only a few jurisdictions who have really done a good job at kind of trying to manage CWD or slowing its spread. And, you know, the way to do that is to go into these areas and get more testing done and reduce densities where you see prevalence. So, you know, we'll be working with the province, looking to get some more sampling done in those areas where we have positives. It's a bit of a cluster now around Cranbrook. We'll have a map of that on our website. And then the other piece is around urban deer. So both Cranbrook and Kimberley have really high deer densities, or relatively high deer densities in town. The cities have been identified as a pretty high risk place for a number of years, particularly as it relates to CWD. In both of those places, we're going to need about 100 samples in each city to be able to detect prevalence or whether there's CWD in there. So it's hard for people who care about deer. It's hard for people who like to see deer. It's hard for people who hunt deer. But in our world, we have to take the precautionary approach. And the precautionary approach in this case actually means making sure that we are doing a ton of sampling, making sure that if we have hotspots, we go in and reduce densities in those areas. None of this is fun. No one enjoys it, but it's the best thing for wildlife. If CWD prevalence goes up and it gets away from us, there's no takebacks on this one. The only way to try to manage this is to get a pile of testing done, get a pile of samples in, and if we see hotspots, we need to go in and reduce deer densities in those areas. So I'm sure there's lots of discussion in the conservation community. There's definitely lots of discussion in the municipalities, but if we're going to do what's best for deer, what's best for wildlife in the long run, we need to make sure that we don't have it, and in places where we do have it, we have to go in and reduce the densities. If we don't, there's no takebacks on this. Along a similar vein around wildlife health and disease, avian bird flu is on the map in a big way here in British Columbia. We've published a number of guidelines for our members and for people who are out hunting. There are now, it's zoonotic, there are people and other species that are getting bird flu in parts of North America. So another thing where we want to be precautionary, we want to report it if we see birds that look like they're ill and take a bunch of precautions if we're out hunting migratory waterfowl. So that's it for the member update. For CWD, you can check out all of the past webinars. This is going to be hard for everyone who's involved. We got to make sure that we think about the future and think about the long run for wildlife and for people who care about wildlife. Talk to you soon. Thanks.